Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're watching this video in good health. If you're an international student planning to study in Canada this year in 2020, this video is for you. You may have had plans to fly to Canada, but because of the current situation, you're unable to do that. And because of all the uncertainties, lockdowns, and travel restrictions around the world, you're stuck and also unsure about what's happening and what's going to happen next. So in this video, I will talk about the effect of COVID-19 on the September and the May intake of Canada. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. Okay, before I tell you about the impact of COVID-19, let's just quickly discuss the three different types of intakes in Canada. Because we are in the month of May, let's just start with the May intake. It is also called as the spring or the summer intake. This is the least preferred intake of all the three intakes in Canada. Not many colleges offer a course during the spring season, and the ones that offer are very few. But even for those limited programs in colleges, there are thousands of students that choose it. Also, it is probably the best weather of the year. Okay, now let's talk about the September intake, which is also known as the fall intake. This intake includes the most number of institutes offering the largest number of seats available in all the courses compared to the two other intakes. It is the primary intake for the students who want to study in Canada. Most students prefer fall intake to start their studies in Canada as it will give them enough time to be conditioned to the studies and the environment. This will put these students 4 or 5 months ahead of the students joining in the winter intake. Apart from that, the weather in fall is more pleasant compared to the winters. Okay, now let's talk about the January intake, or which is also called as the winter intake. It is actually a continuation of the fall intake. A fewer number of institutes offer courses in winter intake compared to the fall intake. Mostly the students who have missed the admission in fall intake would opt for the winter intake. They will have another chance to continue their studies without waiting for a whole year. And of course, January is very cold here in Canada, so it's definitely not a very pleasant time of the year. Okay, now when you're aware of these three different types of intakes, I won't talk much about the winter intake in this video because the winter intake for 2020 has already happened. I'll talk about the effect of COVID-19 on the summer intake or the May intake and on the September or the fall intake as well. So let's start with the May intake. Since the mid of March 2020, when the health emergencies were declared, almost all the Canadian universities and colleges have been conducting online classes for their students. So for the May intake as well, almost all the universities would be conducting the online classes at least until September. And obviously when you're studying online, it does not matter where you're actually attending this college from. So you have that liberty of studying from your home country. And obviously because of the health crisis, lockdown and the flights being grounded, it was obvious that many students would not be able to come to Canada. However, students who have a valid study permit or were approved for a study permit on or before March 18th can currently travel to Canada. So all those students who got their study permit approved after 18th of March, they are not allowed to enter Canada as of now. But all those students who got their study permit before 18th of March, they can actually come to Canada when they want to. And obviously you would be able to travel only after the flights get started. So obviously everyone is aware that most of the students would not be able to travel to Canada during these times. And hence the government of Canada has stated that students who are unable to travel to Canada at this time due to the travel restrictions may begin their classes while outside Canada and may complete up to 50% of their program while outside Canada if they cannot travel to Canada. So rightfully so, you have been given a lot of liberty to study from your home country. You can complete 50% of your program from outside of Canada. And obviously when things get better, you can definitely come over to Canada. Now this is a May intake, but because of the current situation, some colleges and universities are actually deferring the classes to June, July, or maybe the complete intake has been moved from the month of May to September. And because of all of this, obviously there would be a much lesser count of students in this May intake. Okay, talking of the current situation, all those students who were studying here, who maybe came here in the January intake, things have not been rosy for them. Most of the universities actually vacated their hostels and residences, due to which the students had to move out of the university campus and find an accommodation somewhere else, which was a big trouble for the students studying here. But the colleges and the universities are doing their best to help their students. It was heard that many colleges have given the students around $200 in cash, as in financial aid, to buy groceries and other items during these tough times. So similarly, in this May intake, things will be a lot different and a lot difficult. Okay, now let's talk about the September intake. The situation here in Canada is actually getting better every passing week, and most of the provinces have already started to reopen. They've started with the small businesses, very small gatherings, and then if everything goes well, they would actually be moving to bigger businesses, malls, schools, and universities. So it is expected that by September things will get a lot better. And in the September intake, we could see a mix of the online classes and the in-person classes, or the in-campus classes. In that case, as we know that the new normal would be social distancing, at least for next 6-7 months, until a vaccine is being developed. So it would be very difficult for colleges and universities to maintain that social distance in colleges and universities in the classes. Hence, most of the colleges and universities have now decided that the first couple of months would be online, just like the May intake, and as and when the situation gets better, they would quickly move on to the in-person or the in-campus classes, just like it used to be before, but with social distancing measures in place. If you were thinking of going for September intake, you must have shortlisted your college or university by now, and you might be in the process of getting the acceptance letter, or you might have already got it. Now, during this time, in a normal situation, people would actually begin to apply for the external scholarships, maybe apply for the student loan after they get the acceptance letter, and then start their visa process. However, not many guidelines have been told until now by IRCC for the study visa, but we know that the visa actually involves biometrics as well. So earlier they used to give 30 days timeline, but now because of the restrictions around the world, they would now be giving a timeline of 90 days. Now here it's very important to note that the international students actually contribute around $6 billion a year just in tuition at the Canadian universities, but their economic impact extends beyond. International students actually contribute around $22 billion annually to Canada's economy. Looking at this graph, you can see the number of students actually have risen almost every year in the past 10 or 12 years. So obviously you know that education is now a business. It is a money-making business, and nobody wants to lose out the money. Government also knows that international students give a huge boost to the Canadian economy, so the government is also trying their best to help the international students join the May and the September intake. But things are changing rapidly, and I will try my best to keep you updated with the latest updates. Okay, now this problem of COVID-19 is around the globe, and most of the universities and colleges have moved to online education just like Canada. So IDP, the organization which does the IELTS apart from British Council, they did a survey with around 6,900 international students. Most of them were from India, and they did the survey to know what the students actually want. Do they actually want online classes? Do they want face-to-face classes? Do they want to defer their sessions because of this? So this is what is the result of this survey. They would defer entry to study face-to-face. Around 31% people said that they can go with online but want to transition to face-to-face. The top concerns with online delivery compared to the in-person teaching. So the biggest concern there was that the lack of international exposure I was hoping to gain. Obviously, if you're sitting in your home country, you're not getting that international exposure. You have enrolled to a program, to a particular college, to a particular university only to get that international exposure. But with the online delivery, you won't be able to get that. Also, people doubt that the standard of teaching quality would go down, and they also worry about the preference for their personal learning style. Now, this is a very important question which came there. If differing how long international students are willing to wait for face-to-face teaching. Here, around 23%, almost quarter of the people said that they're willing to wait up to 6 months. Some even said that they would wait for 1 year to go to face-to-face teaching. Now, the key takeaways from this survey was that the majority of international student applicants remain determined to study abroad despite the travel restrictions caused by COVID-19. Students are overwhelmingly in favor of studying face-to-face in their study destination. They don't want to study online. And the recommended actions is that there should be more clarity as to when and how the face-to-face teaching will resume, and also about the built-in capacity for large cohorts of students commencing face-to-face studies from January to May 21. So I hope that through this survey and through this video you would have got a better idea of the current situation. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please click the like button. If you have any query or comment, please put your comment down in the comment section below. And yes, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Please click the subscribe button before moving on to the next video. Thanks again.